right, so let's consider prizes and awards. This is such a double-edged sword here. It hurts sometimes. First off, you win a large prize and you get all happy and excited, uh, and then you got to pay taxes on it. And the tax bill can be ginormous for you. I've had several clients over the years who have won a large amount of money from the casino or the lottery, and thankfully, one of their first stops is to call me and talk to me about what the tax burden is going to be and what they should do about it and how they should plan for that tax burden. And we take care of it from there. So if you ever win a large prize or win an award or something, by all means, your first thought should be, what am I going to do about the taxes? How am I going to plan for the taxes? And let's get that taken care of right now. Don't spend all the money and then worry about the taxes. I've had people do that also. And when you worry about the taxes last, you end up in a big world of hurt. So let's look at some of the issues with winning prizes and awards. All right, so as I just talked about, prizes and awards are taxable income. It doesn't matter if you win a big lump of cash or if it's some sort of tangible good. The good thing is only the fair market value of an asset that you win is taxable. Game shows love to talk about how this trip to Fiji is worth $20,000, but in reality, if you can find out that that same trip would only cost you $15,000, that's all you've got to pay taxes on. So you want to make sure if you do win a trip or some sort of tangible good that you look up the fair market value of it, and that's what you're going to pay tax on. You do have to pay tax in the state where you won it. So this is a big one for game shows because game shows are often recorded in California. And if you go into that state, if you have a physical presence in that state, when you win the prize, you're going to have to pay taxes there. And so we see a lot of that with Choctaw, people up in who go up to the casino in Durant and they win some money. Like that ever happens, but if they do win some money, they're going to be required to file Oklahoma tax return and pay Oklahoma income taxes on the amount of money they won up in Choctaw. And like we talked about earlier, there are some exceptions, or we talk about this later on today. There are some exemptions for small awards for safety and longevity to your employees. So let's take a look at an example of how much a free car is. I don't know if y'all remember this show where Oprah gave everybody in her audience a free car. And so what did that do to the people who won that free car in her audience that day? Well, let's assume the car was worth $50,000 and that they were in California but live in Texas. So we're going to assume the 15% income tax rate and an 8% California rate. These are close to their averages. So the income taxes would be as follows. For the federal, you would have to pay $7,500. $50,000 times 15% is $7,500. Then for California, you would have to pay $4,000. Again, 50,000 times 8% is $4,000. And here's one that most Texans don't realize. In Texas, we have what's called a sales and use tax. So you would have to pay a use tax on winning this car. This was a big issue when Amazon was becoming popular. People were ordering products from Amazon and having them shipped here to Texas, but not paying sales tax. And so this use tax has been around a long time before the internet, but nobody knew about the use tax, so nobody was paying the use tax. And of course, this requires some serious cooperation by the taxpayer to self-report that they bought something and didn't pay sales tax on it, so now they have to pay use tax on it. And so if they win a car, then the use tax would be 6.25%, and they pay another $4,000 to the state of Texas. So overall, your total tax due would be $15,625. I mean, it's still a good deal. Even if somebody walked up to you and said, hey, I've got this brand new car worth $50,000, I'll sell it to you for $16,000. Most people would find a way to make that happen because you're buying a very highly valued asset for a fraction of the cost. And so you'll make it happen. So this is still a good idea, but the problem comes into, especially when you've won an asset instead of cash, is, do you have $15,000 sitting around just to pay for the car? If the answer is no, well, now you've got to either go get a loan to pay for the car, or you've got to sell the car in order to pay the taxes. So double-edged sword there, so make sure you plan for that thing. If you ever have the option of taking a car worth $50,000 or cash worth $50,000, I would take the cash, because then you don't have the use tax right here for Texas. So it would save you $4,000 by taking $50,000 in cash versus a $50,000 car. So yeah, it's not such a free car, but still, heck of a deal. I wouldn't turn it down. And as we talked about, a lot of winners have to sell their gifts to pay their taxes. One time I had a client who was on Wheel of Fortune during Celebrity Week with Moose Johnson, and she did really well, and she won $80,000 odd worth of cash and prizes. I think she had $20,000 in cash. She had a car, she had a couple of trips, and like a $5,000 set of golf clubs. Well, she didn't come to us first after she won. She just took her stuff and went home. She took the trip, spent the cash, drove the car. She gave the golf clubs away to Moose Johnson because she didn't play golf. And Moose said, yeah, those are really nice golf clubs. And she said, well, here, you can have them. And then when it came tax time, we had to report all of that stuff, including the golf clubs that she gave away to Moose Johnson. So she had to pay taxes on a set of golf clubs that she gave away to a millionaire. So again, I can't harp on this enough. If you win anything, get some tax advice on what to do. So now I hope you realize that if you win cash or prizes or get an award, it's going to be taxable. You're going to have a significant tax burden on it. So be ready for it, plan for it, and then hopefully it won't hurt so much.